Hello, Diamond. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Before we get started today, Diamond, I just wanted to kind of let you know that everything we discussed today in our session, it will be confidential. This just means that whatever's said between me and you, it stays private between you and I. There are some exceptions with the confidentiality. If you suspect or hear, I'm sorry, if I suspect or hear you talk about harming yourself or um, your court order, then of course I would have to break that confidentiality. But do you understand what I've told you about the confidentiality? And do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm pretty clear on the confidentiality.
Okay, that sounds great. Um, so Diamond, what is it that you would like to discuss in our counseling session today?
So lately I've been having some really odd dreams about my son. He's been getting into quite a bit of trouble here recently, and the dreams just seem to be getting worse and worse. I'm having dreams he's stealing cars. I'm having dreams that he is, setting fires, just doing a lot of things that I don't want him out here doing, doing a lot of things that's gonna get him in trouble. And I'm just trying to, figure out why these dreams are happening or, what I can do to stop them.
Okay, so kind of what I heard you saying is just a little bit of trouble with your son, and sounds like it's kind of bleeding over into, your unconscious dreams, and you're just trying to get an understanding of why you're having these dreams today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Um, well, Diamond, I heard you say that, you wanted to discuss your son in our session today. Could you please explain kind of the issues so that I'm better to understand your situation? I know that you said, you're having dreams about him stealing cars and things of that matter, but what's kind of leading to it? Is there anything that you think it has been leading to it? Or just tell me more about it.
He's just been hanging with the wrong crowd and, I've been having to work a lot of crazy long hours, so he's pretty much at home by himself, but he's well aware of what I expect out of him as far as behavior and taking care of the household and, just keeping himself occupied and not outside running with the wrong group of kids. I've tried many different, tactics as far as getting him in programs and trying to find him a mentor, but I can only do so much with the help that I get.
So it sounds like it's kind of tough on you as a mom too, just trying to keep him straight and keep him on the, narrow path is what I heard you saying.
Definitely. And then, like I said, with the dreams, they're progressively getting worse and worse. And I don't want to be at work taking care of one of my patients and, start thinking about the dreams and just feeling like I need to leave work to go figure out where he is and what he's doing.
Okay. Well, Diamond, you explained the issue well. And I know you said that, you're just kind of worried about your son. And of course, that may come with a little bit of, anxiety or just even a little stress that you kind of, bleed over. But, uh, I'm just wondering, is there anything other than, I mean, outside of your son that you think may be causing anxiety in these dreams?
Um, Kind of, I would say me not feeling like I'm as attentive as I should be. And I was a child myself. I often got into a little bit of trouble here and there. So just, thinking back on my past and, what I was doing and sometimes just feeling like he's out here doing the same things and I just don't want him to do what I used to do.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is, you don't want your son doing the things that, you used to do, but are you just fearful that the things that, you kind of went through, you don't want him to go through the same things, or is it just something that he's on a path by himself doing?
Um, I think a mixture of the both, I want him to still be a kid and be able to experience life and hang out, but at the same time, I know the trouble that I got in and how that, made things tougher on me as an adult.
Um, Diamond, could you tell me what you learned kind of from the activities that we done previously together as far as speaking of the dream analysis and kind of diving deeper into your dreams? Are there any new ideas or feelings that you may be using from what we previously, spoke about? Are you exhibiting any of this, with your son? With the dreams that are kind of coming out as far as the activity, as far as anything that he's saying, as far as relieving, your anxiety and your stress as well. Is there, anything else?
Well, I know in a previous session we kind of discussed, maybe the dreams aren't so much about my son, but my own conscious kind of, speaking to me. So I've had conversations with him of just, asking what exactly are you doing when I'm at work, just to try to, figure out, is it truly just, my conscious and what I used to do coming back to kind of haunt me. And he really is a good kid, and is doing the dishes and taking the trash out and things that I'm asking him to do.
Now, remind me again, is he an only child? Is he your only child, or do you have more children besides him?
He's the only one in the household right now. He has an older sibling away in school.
Okay. Um, do you think that you put more expectations on him, maybe because he's the only child at school, or are these just regular expectations of you?
Um, now that you say something, I can kind of see how I'm kind of treating him to well, expecting the same out of him that I got from his older sibling. His older sibling was pretty straightforward, graduated high school in the top 10%, went away to college on a full ride. And I understand that all kids are different, but I could definitely see how I might just be treating him to a standard that, maybe he just, I don't want to say he can't reach, but he just needs a little bit more help to get there.
Okay. Um, well, kind of before we dive in a little bit more, could you just tell me a little bit more about the dream? I know we spoke about the dream, but could you give me a little bit more detail about the dream?
I just feel like day by day they're progressively getting worse. Just last night I had a dream that, he was at my mother's house and got upset about something and, just went outside and set her trash cans on fire. Before it was kind of, just him sneaking out the house and, staying out later, but like I said, they're progressively getting worse. So, the setting the trash can on fire. The night before that he was riding around in a stolen car. And like I said, these are things that, um, with this being a confidential space, I used to do some of these things. I used to sneak out late. Um, I used to ride around in cars that I would like to believe weren't stolen, but I'm sure they were. So, I'm not sure if these are things that he's truly out here doing, or if, like I said, my conscience is kind of just like eating away at me. And, with him having so much freedom, I just kind of put things on him.
Okay. I heard you say, I keep hearing you speak about the mother figure, and you said they're kind of getting progressively worse day by day. Um, do you think that the mother represents your mother in this dream, or is she a figure of your mother but representing yourself with your child? And do you actually believe that the son in this dream, that you're dreaming, in the dream that you're speaking of, is this a representation of the son, or is it a representation of kind of your own feelings? We drove into, speaking about the son and kind of analyze that a little bit, but just going a little further, do you believe that you are the mother figure and possibly the son is a feeling or of
Um,
some assortment of the situation?
now that you say something, me and my mom don't have the greatest relationship. We definitely have bumped heads due to, things that I've done in the past. Um, over the last few weeks or so, like over the course of me having these dreams, we kind of butt heads a little bit more often than not. I kind of go to her and I'll ask her and I'll speak to her about it, and it's always, well, you used to do the same thing, and just things of that nature. So
Sure,
it could be, me just reliving the past and reliving the relationship with my mother, and I'm just kind of seeing it through me and my son, or kind of just feeling like we're gonna have the same relationship I have with my mother, and I don't want that.
sure. Um, have you have actually taken the step to speak with your son? I know we're just now analyzing the dreams within a couple sessions, but um, have you spoken with your son? Have you spoken and actually analyzed any of his feelings? As far as the coping mechanisms that we've learned, have you been applying any of those to, the situation at hand?
We've had a few conversations. I can honestly say I don't necessarily approach them the right way, so I definitely do need to, um, work a little bit harder to incorporate some of those mechanisms that we discussed in previous sessions. You know, he tells me what I feel, he tells me what he thinks I want and need to hear. And once again, this could just be, me foreseeing the relationship I have with my mother, and maybe he really is telling the truth.
Sure. Okay. Well, I just want to not coach you, but what's the word for it? Just kind of want to push you in the direction of finding a goal before we, leave this session today. Just kind of giving you some homework of different, coping mechanisms as to why these dreams keep occurring and why they're actually getting worse. So, with that being said, Diamond, I wonder if you could identify one small step or goal that you would be willing to basically just commit to doing in the next week or so that will help you cope or work towards resolving the issue that is at hand. Which it just kind of sounds like we explained that you sound like the mother figure, and maybe your son is kind of, some unresolved issues that you've experienced. So, um, basically, like I said, just work towards. We want to get you some goals to work towards the issues in your daily life. Basically,
I
what does it
think
say?
I think you've done a good job at kind of analyzing what's been going on and make me realize a lot of key factors that maybe I just kind of ignored. I think something that I could definitely incorporate over the next week or two is, just sitting down and having a conversation with my mom, and, try to begin to repair that relationship and see, what effect that has on my dreams. Because like I said, my son, I don't know for sure that he's out here doing wrong. He tells me he's doing, what he needs to do. And, besides him hanging with a couple of the neighborhood kids that I don't really want him to be around, I come home, the house is clean, the homework is done, his grades are still good. So I think kind of starting with the relationship I have with my mom will be a good starting point.
Okay, that sounds like a great goal to have. I think that's something you'll be able to accomplish within the next week or so. That's something achievable, something that's small, and you can gradually, work your way from smaller to bigger if necessary. So that actually sounds great, and I think we spoke about some great things today in this session. But Diamond, just to kind of wrap things up. I appreciate the things that you shared with me today, and I appreciate you opening up to me. I appreciate you allowing me to hear your dream and kind of just flow through it with you, and just trying to break open the ice a little bit more and analyze and see kind of what's going on. And I know over the next few weeks, it'll progressively, kind of get better as we begin to just break these things down and continue to work on them. So with that being said, Diamond, I want to let you know that we do just have a few minutes left. And is there anything basically that you wanted to add? Anything else that you wanted to tell me, or that you kind of want to work on the next session?
Um, no, I think, working on having a conversation with my mom over the next few weeks and then just incorporating some of those mechanisms and techniques that we discussed as far as how to approach my son, that we've talked about over the last few sessions with. That's a good place to end today.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Once again, I really appreciate it. And just paraphrase kind of what I heard you say, for our next go, you will work on, you want to have a sit down with your mother. You would possibly agree to speaking with your son and have an open session with him. Um, you want to work on basically things getting better with your mom for the sake of things getting better with your son, and kind of close up the anxiety gap that you have within, I guess, your own walls. And I appreciate you for breaking that down for me today. That goal, it's an achievable one, and we will get there. Is there any other questions that you have for me today before we end our session?
Not today. You did a great job at listening and, making sure that I understood that you actually hear what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Um, and one other thing before we go, would you like to go ahead and make an appointment or set up an appointment for the following appointment next week, or?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay. Well, if you speak with our receptionist up front, we will get that going for you, Miss Jackson. And once again, I want to thank you for being so open and coming here today and allowing me to listen to you. Uh, and
Thank
we'll see you next time, all right?
thank you.